going on, everyone? Welcome to the second afternoon tea session of the day. Welcome. What is going on? So happy that everyone is here. I already see people filling up that chat box. So great. Had a really good session this morning, and we're looking to keep doing it here right now, having some more fun and meeting more people, having great conversations. Looking forward to all your questions. I'm sure they're going to be great. And just looking forward for everyone to get to know each other. And if you are new here, welcome. If this is your first Hollywood or afternoon tea with Hollywood Editing Mentor session, let us know. Let us know if this is your first time here. Want to say hi. And if you're a regular, what's up? Welcome. Good to see you once again. My name is Joaquin Elizondo, the creator of the Hollywood Editing Mentor program and the host of the podcast. Welcome. I'm also a film and TV editor. That's my day job. But hey, if you are new here, this is an event that I do. Maybe I'd say, when I'm not working, I do it maybe once every 2 months. At least I try to do that, but excuse me. It's a way for everyone to get to know each other, to network, make new friends, new relationships. And also I'm here to answer all your questions. So any questions that you have, say about editing, post-production, life, anything, we're here to help. Not just me, but of course, all the great members here that you see in the chat box. So happy that everyone was able to make it. And, again, this was great because, I did 2 sessions because, there's members all over the world. So try to make this as accessible as possible. And I again, first time I do this. So I think this really works. I think, there was a great turnout in the morning, great turnout right now. And so I might just keep doing this. But let's check in where everyone's from. Luke is from LA. What's up, Luke? Great to have you here. Lisa from Missouri. Good to see you. Patrick Lang, what is going on, my friend? Jessica from Sherman Oaks. Yo, from Frogtown, Alex. Good breweries out there, coffee shops, restaurants. Glendale, California, Andrew Proctor. Hey, Matt Burrow. Dude, great to see you. Matt and I go way back now. What is it, Matt, like 15 years? I don't know. But I'm so glad that you're here. We worked together in San Diego. Ken, glad you were able to make it here, Ken. Excuse me, guys. Whoa. So sorry. David Torres from Long Beach. All right. Amanda is back again. She was here this morning and is back. I love it. Matthew said it's his first time. Wow. Ace Digital Productions, Wayne from Las Vegas, Nevada in the house. You were here this morning too. That's great. Charlie from snowy Chicago. How is it out there? I can't imagine. I spent some time in Michigan, 4 years out there, so know all about the Midwest winter and that damn wind. Ooh, rough. But what's up, Charlie? Karina Edits, hello from California. ¿Qué tal? Carter, South Kingston, Rhode Island. First time here. Oh, I know where you're from. Heard about this from my university's newsletter. Graduating from uni this semester, looking to network and see where things are going. Congratulations on that graduation, Carter. All right, so you were here. We're here. I was telling the people earlier this morning kind of what I've been up to, because I do have a day job. Like I said, I am an editor, and so when things get really busy at work and, I start working with directors, producers, I kind of have to step away from this community, unfortunately. But so that's why, if I'm on a project or, you'll probably see me go away for a little bit. But I'm back now. Wrap my recent show. It's a limited series for Netflix that I hope you will see later this year. It's going to be great. I hope. No, I know so. So I'm back now and doing a lot of stuff for the Hollywood Editing Mentor program, the community. As I don't know if there's some people here that are in this course, but I started a Break Into Scripted course. It's a course that tells you how to navigate the path to working in film and scripted television. I did a first one back in the spring of last year, and then I'm doing one right now. We're going to have our third session this Saturday. And it's been great. It's been a lot of fun. We've been learning a lot, and it just having a lot of fun. And so I will hopefully do it again later this year. I don't know yet, but I do have a lot of plans or more plans for other courses. Looking to really build up Hollywood Editing Mentor and make this just the ultimate resource for aspiring editors or aspiring post-production professionals. And it's not only about working in film and or scripted television, right? I mean, like we're talking about, commercials, trailers, promos, reality, whatever. This is going to be a one-stop shop for anyone that wants to work in post. So building towards that, well, you can help me out right now by subscribing to the Hollywood Editing Mentor YouTube channel. It'll really help make this just reach the post-production community around the world. So I can certainly use your support. All you got to do, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It'll certainly help out this community and this platform. I'm telling you, there are big plans for Hollywood Editing Mentor. And the podcast is coming back Tuesday, February 14th, just in time for Valentine's Day. So tune in. Amazing guest. You're gonna love it. But more than anything, and now I'm gonna be doing a video version of the podcast, or a better reason to also subscribe to the Hollywood Editing Mentor YouTube channel. So that's coming out again Tuesday, February 14th. Brand new season. It's gonna be awesome. And talking about YouTube, I'm going to be doing a lot more videos, tutorials, career advice videos, just a lot of content. You're going to be seeing a lot here from Hollywood Editing Mentor. And of course, always want to hear from you. What are you looking to do? What are you looking to see? What kind of tutorials you want me to do? What kind of videos? Which guests you want to see in the show? Always hit me up. You got my email, or you can do it through the website. And speaking of what you're doing, I want to hear from you guys. We got so many people here, and everyone's doing something different or wants to do something different. We all have different goals. And speaking of goals, right, we're still at the beginning of the year. So what is everyone, I want you to know, let me know in that chat box, what do you want to work in? What is your ultimate goal? Like, what area of post-production do you want to work in? Do you want to work in film, scripted television? Do you want to work in trailers, documentary? Let us know, because again, you're going to hear me say this a lot. You got to put yourself out there. You got to put your goals out there. Let people know what you want to do. It starts there. So let's practice right now, right? We're in the safe space, and let's get to know each other. What is it? What are your goals this year? What do you want to work on? What area of post-production do you want to work in? Let us know in that chat box. And of course, also get your questions ready. You can type them in the chat box now. We'll get to them as we go, so you don't forget them. But we're gonna certainly do that here in a bit. But I wanna hear what your goals are and what you want to work on. I need to know this. Charlie says, my dream is to edit narrative features and documentaries. So awesome. And yeah, well, you gotta hit up that Break Into Scripted course. Definitely help you with that. Andrew Proctor, of course, scripted television. Luke, I'm hoping to get in as an assistant editor in scripted TV. Of course, Luke, I can certainly help you with that. Ace Digital Production says, I like to experience a little bit of everything. Hey, it's good to try things and experiment. But like I always say, in the end, I think it's worth picking a path. Karina Edit says, I want to be an assistant editor in scripted television. All right. Matt, I want to make content for companies focused on emerging tech in the green sector, helping them grow their brand. Awesome, man. I like that. Thanks for sharing that, Matt. Ken, scripted narrative films and docuseries. Sweet. Patrick, hoping to become an assistant editor in scripted television in Local 700. That's the Editors Guild. Matt, docuseries for sure. I love a good docuseries. Jessica Flores, features and television documentaries. Honestly, open to all. Well, I got you. I understand. There's so much stuff to work on, so much great content. It's tough to pick one thing, right? But, like I always say, in the end, though, it's good to define a path, define your goals. You're certainly doing that here, and you're letting us know what you want to do, what you're striving for. But, the only one thing I say is that, yeah, eventually, if you're going to go for documentaries, if you're going to go for film, if you're going to go for trailers, whatever it is, go for that and that alone, right? Lisa says, I want to work in scripted, but trailers sound fun too. I get it. Yep. I get it. David, for the time being, I like to continue working as an assistant editor in scripted TV and film. Sweet. A lot of good stuff out there. Carter, the dream is scripted films, but I want anything story related as a career. Realistically now, I'm looking for advice, connections to edit for social media advertising. Yeah, advertising. Yeah, no. A lot of people here in this community are doing just that. So you got to, again, let us know like you're doing right now so we can help you out, right? But yeah, you know what? I got to say, a lot of the great, cool stuff that I've been seeing are like on social media, man. Really, really creative content creators and editors out there. It's pretty amazing. It's some amazing times we're living. David, it's going great. It's going great. Just happy that you are here, having tons of fun. Loved doing these 2 sessions today. I'm really digging it. So yeah, again, I'm here to answer any and all questions. I want to get the conversations going. I'm also going to throw out topics, for you guys and have maybe a discussion. But, I got to admit, like one thing that came up today, not just in the morning edition of Afternoon Tea, but I was interviewed today, and I just having discussions with friends. But this, Premiere versus Avid thing, I don't know why I've been getting this asked a lot, or I've been around conversations that involve this. But people always ask me, well, is Premiere, for example, is Premiere something that's used in film and scripted television? And do I need to know Avid, right? I tell people, yes, if you want to work in not only films and scripted TV shows, but just union projects out in LA and New York, you have to know Avid. Like there's no way around it, right? And honestly, it's good to know both. And I'll take it beyond that. It's just good to know, really be familiar, be comfortable with any NLE, editing software, because, I don't expect you or anyone to say, for example, just like if you've never used DaVinci, for example, just to go on it and boom, you're an expert. But at least, give yourself a couple of days to get familiar with it and work it, right? I mean, that's what we are as editors, but we got to just be able to use these tools. But, speaking specifically about Premiere and Avid, yeah, look, if you want to work, like I said, union projects, you have to know Avid Media Composer. There's a free version available. I think it's Avid Media Composer First. It's free. It's not like fully functional, but it's good enough for you to get familiar with it. And so And of course, Premiere, look, there's a lot of work with Premiere, right? But I'm just saying that if you want to be, on kind of the pro level, let's say, and work union, this and that, you must know Avid Media Composer. Everyone here know Avid, or is people trying to still learn it? What do you think? What are your thoughts? I mean, look, there's certainly some, for example, scripted television shows and films that are cut with Premiere. It's mostly like the indie circuit, indie films. I know, like, for example, David Fincher uses Premiere to cut both films and scripted television shows. And like, that's the only one that I really know about. But I know it's always a debate. But I'm just telling you, definitely you got to learn Avid. No doubt about it. All right, so I see a lot of questions here. I'm gonna start getting to them. I love it. Luke, Avid, yeah. I started with Final Cut 7 and then transferred to Avid Media Composer, and that was hard. I had a hard time, for sure. Matthew, haven't used it. Do you think Avid has a long future in the industry? This is a very good question. And, one thing that for example, here in Hollywood and, in union shows, it's that, people don't like change. I mean, can you imagine like when they went from film to digital? I mean, that was insane, right? It was tough. So like every time, like that's why, like when we're version up, saying Avid Media Composer, shows are very hesitant to do that. And right now, for example, what is it, like Avid 2022? And like the last show I worked on, we were still on 2018. I think the majority are 2018. Because, it takes a while to sort out all those bugs. Now, Avid has a stronghold on films and scripted TV union work. Premiere's, making that effort to gain some ground, and they certainly are, but it's going to be a while before I think Premiere definitely trumps them over, in the film and scripted TV space for sure. Yeah. So, yeah, it's still worth learning, for no doubt about it. It's the industry standard. Yeah, Final Cut Pro 7 was the go. Oh man, that was the best. I started with Final Cut as well, and yes, difficult switch. That was tough. Karina says that most shows I work on use Avid 2020 at the moment. Good. That's interesting. I've been hearing 2018, 2020 now, and someone said this morning that 2022 they were using. So all over the place. So maybe more people are catching on, more productions are catching on and jumping on board the new versions of Avid. I see. Has more questions? Let's see. Patrick Land, are internships a good start? Of course, any opportunity to learn and get access to a network of people, a team, to be able to shadow anything. It's just simply growing your network, whether it's, you have a paid opportunity or not, and again, talking about getting paid, I always tell people, I want people to get paid, right? I don't expect anyone to work for free, but if you got to look at the value of say a non-paid, job or experience, and, if you're going to get, I think it's worth it. If you are going to get access to certain people and work on a cool project and you're going to learn a lot and gain a lot and maybe knowledge and connections, then it's worth it, right? Just got to watch out when you're just kind of like running around and not getting access to people and people not teaching you maybe, stuff like that. But no, I think any opportunity, whether it be an internship, a post PA, anything. And in fact, that's a good way. I mean, actually, a good friend, Augie Rexach, he's on the Hollywood Editing Mentor podcast. One of the very first episodes, talks about that, where he was moved from Florida to Hollywood and was looking for opportunities in scripted TV. And he just said, you know what, I'm just going to go and offer my services for free, man. Someone give me a shot. I'll work for free. I'll do anything. And of course, someone said, yeah, of course, man, free labor, but he did a great job and he got hired, right? And so the thing is just you need to get that your foot in the door somehow, and just got to know that that there is more value than just simply money. For example, a paycheck, right? It's like knowledge, a network, connections, relationships. What resources would you recommend in the meantime for those of us who missed out on breaking to scripted? Well, first of all, let me say this. If you want to sign up for the waitlist, head over to HollywoodEditingMentor.com/waitlist. Get on the waitlist. Get on the waitlist because this has sold out now the past 2 times. So you will definitely be the first to know when I do it again, and you get a shot at signing up. So definitely check that out. Get on the waitlist today, HollywoodEditingMentor.com/waitlist. You'll definitely hear more about it. Trust me, soon. So do that as we speak. In fact, here, let me, I'm going to try this because I like, I'm just going to put it here. So yeah, get on the wait list. We'd love to have you. We have a lot of fun there. It's been great. But back to your question, Charlie, what resources would you recommend? Right here, the Hollywood Editing Mentor YouTube channel. You go through it. There's a lot of good stuff on there related to breaking into scripted. There's a whole podcast where I have interviews with people who talk about how they've made their way into film and scripted, and both people, who have been doing it now for a while, and people who are recently just did it. And we go through it. And some are my former mentees, so we've worked together. So there's so much information, through the podcast or the YouTube channel and the website. Go through it, right? And if you obviously want to dive deeper into anything, you can do the Break Into Scripted course. I also offer, private one-on-one mentoring sessions. That's available as well. And I do consulting on projects, right? So you have a film or a feature length, a short film, anything. I also do that. You can certainly hit me up for more information if you are interested. But tons of great resources right now available throughout all the Hollywood Editing Mentor outlets, podcast, YouTube channel, website, social media, anything. Let's see. I love all these questions. And, if I miss it, 'cause I'm going through the chat box here. If I miss it, type it in again. I like this question. And I get it a lot. Should I join the union now or wait till I get my first union gig? So, this is my answer. You ready? All right. So once you get on the roster, right? And again, there's a video on the YouTube channel that explains all about what the roster is and how to join it and with the union, everything. Check it out. But once you join the roster, that means that you are union eligible. You can now work union jobs, but you're not yet in the union. That's the next step, right? So this is what I did, all right? I got on the roster and I did not have a union job, right? So but I was just on the roster. And then so I got a job on a feature film. It was an indie project, indie feature. It was still union. It was like tier 0. Barely got paid peanuts, but whatever. Again, talking about experience and growing your network. It was great. Now, they only brought me on to do dailies because it was a low budget indie film. So I was only brought on to do dailies for like 30 days. And guess what? If you work on a project for less than 30 days, a union project, you do not have to join the union. And I did not join the union till I got that first full season of a union show, right? So if you're on a project that's less than 30 days, you don't have to join the union. So I decided not to join the union until I got the first full season of Narcos Mexico. Now, I did consider it, but honestly, like there's so many resources now, because before I thought it was like, all right, I'll join it to get access to like the networking mixers and these events. And I don't think it's worth it. Me personally, to pay, what is $2,000, because you can do a lot of that networking here, through this platform, through other post-production groups. There's so many things to do it, right? So that's what I would wait then, to get my first full like season or something that's more than 30 days, right? Make it worth it to say like, I'm going to pay $2,000, and then say, but I'm going to make, way more than that. So then it's worth it, right? But that's a good question. Matthew Burrow, what is the most effective way you have found to network within the community to make connections that lead to work? Well, I would say that it's building relationships, and that's obviously tied to networking, right? So really fine-tuning my networking game and really mastering it, right? And so what that means is you focus more on building relationships. And it starts here, like at a group like this one, or by sending cold outreach messages, which is something that one of our modules or sessions in this Break Into Scripted course, we dive deep into that. I tell you how to build them, how to construct them. And so it's a process, right? Sometimes, it can take a while to build a relationship with someone. You're building trust. That's what you're doing, right? You're connecting with people so they trust you and they give you hopefully give you an opportunity, or maybe point you in another direction where someone else is going to give you that opportunity. But what I'm trying to say is that it might take a while, right? You got to be patient, and you got to be out there constantly doing it to grow your network, right? But that is what I would say is the most effective way is to build relationships, start building your network, and for example, also I was when I got to LA, I was cutting indie projects at home, right? At home. So I thought like, oh yeah, but I'm cutting a short, a feature length film here, indie project, man. That's great. It's great, but I wasn't out there. Literally was not out there like in an office and meeting like a post group, right? So I had, someone actually close to me told me, you got to get out of this house. You got to go meet people. And that's what I did. I just then started looking for jobs, for example, or opportunities, say with a team to grow my network, right? And I was then filling in filling a bunch of jobs, and I was just meeting teams, going to, meetups, online, through other communities, posting, asking questions, asking people to meet for coffee, going on hikes, all these things that eventually led me to get more work. And I still do that. Honestly, that's the thing. It's like, it's never ending. It's like that whole strategy or that networking just never ends, honestly, right? It's not only a good way to get your foot in the door, get opportunities, but also then just have longevity in this career. Lisa, what is the best way to get union hours when you don't live on a coast? Look, I'll give you an example. A dear friend of mine, and Charlie Viramontes, and he's on the podcast. Like, there's something that I'm going to give you some type of resource or everything, right? But go check out that episode with Carlos Viramontes. He was working in San Diego. Now, I know it's the coast, but I'm just listen. Just give me the opportunity. But he was working in like local sports promos, cutting promos for like the Padres, and that's probably it because we don't have the Chargers anymore. But that's how he got his union hours. So you do the same thing, right? It's whatever, basically anything that's like on TV in your hometown. And so typically what is like, news, maybe promos, stuff like that. Anything that's on TV. That's a I'll still check with contract services, but that's a good way to do it. And so you don't have to be like, say, in LA or New York to work on, say on a reality show, stuff like that. Like you can do that in your hometown. That's like in, wherever you are, that's outside of LA or New York, right? So I would more so look at things that are just simply on TV, because if it's not on TV, then it gets a little tricky. So you got to make sure that it counts, and definitely check in with contract services. Again, there's a video on joining the union, joining the roster here on the Hollywood Editing Mentor YouTube channel. So check it out for sure. More information. Charlie, the podcast is awesome. Oh, thank you, man. I'm glad you check it. You listen to it, check it out. Like I said, we're gonna be coming back with a new season of the Hollywood Editing Mentor podcast on Tuesday, February 14th, Valentine's Day. So definitely stay tuned. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts and subscribe to the YouTube channel, because I'm gonna be doing now a video version of the podcast. Do you know of any scripted jobs here in Vegas? I do not know of any scripted jobs in Vegas, no. But maybe someone else here does. If you want to work in, scripted television or film, union, I'm going to specify union. You, for the most part, have to be in LA or New York. Good question. Patrick Land here. How hard is it to break into reality television, and is that a good path to go if you don't have experience, or does that matter? How difficult? I don't know. I want to be cautious to say like that it's easier than scripted. I mean, it probably is, and there's, because the thing is also like with reality, they have like typically the way it works is that your first opportunity is more likely going to be a night position. You're going to be a night AE, work overnight. And so, in that job is, you're more of a data wrangler, right? Well, I think in general, in reality, assistants are more like just data wranglers, honestly. I don't think it's like, for the most part, as creative of a job, say, as in scripted TV or film. So going back to reality, though, that's a good way to break in, is to probably, either like a post PA. That's a good way in reality, or like a night AE. But you might even start as a post PA and then, work your way up to, say, a night AE and then the day AE, right? And then you get your hours. But yeah, no, look, a lot of people go down that route. I'd say that's a very popular route to go down when trying to get your union hours. And so, yeah, that's definitely something to do. Ken, thank you for your answer. I'm recently on the roster and union eligible for the first time in my life. Awesome. Congrats, Ken. Yeah, so here, I want to let's see. Yeah, so this was recently announced. I just got the email, I think this week. So I don't have a lot of information on it. I still have to sit down and read through this. But yes, the Editors Guild has an apprentice assistant editor program, or apprentice editor program. Like, this was brought back by popular demand. So I'm going to look more into this and provide more information. But I guess you do have to be union eligible for that. But that's a great program. That's awesome. That was, when I got that, I was like, wow, good job, MPEG Local 700. Ace Digital Productions. Do you think it would be possible to live in Vegas and commute to LA? Ooh, when needed, or would I need to live in LA full time? That's a rough commute. I've done it many a times. Yeah, no, I think, if you're starting out, especially if you're starting out, I would recommend being in LA, like being full time in LA. there's just like, I mean, it's just like, it's like being in LA. It's just, the networking. That's the thing, right? And also, like, I think it's very hard for someone to get an opportunity, a remote opportunity, as an assistant editor in scripted, for example, when you're just starting out. I think it's the other way around. It's like if you're already established, and I know, like, well, let me get to this first. If you're already established, say, as an assistant editor in LA, then leaving in LA and going somewhere else, that is different. I know several assistant editors right now. I mean, most of them, I would say, are probably not in LA, but they all have been doing it for a while. They have credits, so that's different. I would highly suggest, if you're starting out your career, to spend some time in LA or New York, for sure. But let me just say this though. But the thing is, you're networking or getting your union hours and networking, building your network can be anywhere, right? So let's say you're like, well, you know what? I might move to LA next year, maybe 2 years or whatever. You can start right now planting that seed, building that network, reaching out to people. You're here, right? That's part of it. Start learning Avid, right? Start seeing how you can get your union hours, all that. You can do that now so that when you eventually do want to go to LA or New York, then you already have, say, a network to reach out to when you get to either of those cities. So, that it's you can do that right now anywhere you're at, if you're not living in, say, LA or New York. Let's see. Amanda, what resources in addition to Afternoon Tea would you recommend for staying on top of future industry news that would directly benefit or negatively affect editors, both established and new? I sign up, to like the Hollywood Reporter, all the trades, pretty much the trades, Variety, and, all those things, like just kind of keep up with that. Just straight up news, see what's going on in the economy. You can start seeing trends, and also just, aside from, say, This Afternoon Tea or just Hollywood Editing Mentor, I mean, there's other, post-production groups like on Facebook or online, I should say. So, Reddit, stuff like that. So check those out for sure. No, there's a lot of stuff. And also, like, that's the thing. It's like you build your network and you have more people to contact. You start hearing stuff, right? I mean, I think the majority of the things that I hear are like through my friends, right? But, I got like the Hollywood Reporter, I get it. I get that like I get it too much, actually. They overdo it sometimes, but like I get news right away, right? And I don't pay for it. I think there's like a free newsletter. Let's see. It's a good question. Is there a big difference between starting as an assistant editor and a PA in production? Would you recommend trying for one over the other? Now, I want to just get some clarification here, Lisa. When you say PA, when you say production, do you mean on set? Or you're trying to say post-production? I just want to get some clarification. Because I really need to know, because that's going to really influence my answer. So get back to us, Lisa, if you just mean a post PA or you mean like a PA, like on set PA. Okay, we just got the confirmation here. Post production. Okay, cool. So post production. So here's the thing. You do not need to be in the union to be a post PA, right? So right now, for those that are not in the union, you can work as a post PA in New York or LA. Now, what happens here? So, and this kind of goes to now the difference between like the East Coast, West Coast unions. Let's start with LA. If you get in LA, you suddenly, I got a post PA job on a scripted TV show, and they offer you, say, well, you know what? There's an opening for an assistant editor. You're not going to be able to take that job, right? So you would have to do it is leave your post PA job, go off and get your hours, and then come back to, either that production or that show or another one, and then hopefully they give you an opportunity as an assistant editor. So what are the benefits of that? Is that, well, you know what? You start building, say a network, you get to know people within, say, scripted television, right? But you're still going to have to go off and get your hours. If you were I believe in New York, there is no roster in New York. So you don't have to be so you can just walk into a job, right? I mean, technically speaking, into a union job. There is no roster in New York. So you can be a PA and then suddenly, you can be an assistant editor. It's a huge difference. Now, I get this asked a lot, right? I mean, like, the other option is you do it the other way around. You go off and get your union hours in reality, whatever. And then you either try to break into scripted, nice plug there, right? To either as a post PA or as an assistant editor, because now you can do the job of an assistant editor, right? And even if you do, say, break in as a post PA, now that you're in there, that you got your foot in the door, if someone gives you a shot at being an assistant editor, you can do the job, right? So I prefer option number 2. I prefer just get those hours out of the way, just do it, and then go look for work. That's what I recommend. But everyone's different. But that's what I would do. Thank you for all these great questions. Patrick, how do you find out about assistant editors who work on some of your favorite television shows, IMDb or anything else? IMDb for sure. I mean, that's easy. You just type it in, type a show, and you'll see who was the assistant, or my friends, but that's pretty much it. Or just, you watch a show and look at the credits and you'll see. This is another good question. I've been asked this a lot. I've been in the business as a composer for 20 years, and I'm making a career shift. I'm not a spring chicken, but I am totally willing to start over. Are people reluctant to hire mature post PAs? No, man. Nope. Don't let that stop you. Don't let age stop you. I know a lot of, I'll just say, older post PAs personally. So no, don't let that hold you back. If you jive with the people, if you get along, have a good attitude, you get a shot no matter your age. Same thing. Ace Digital Productions. I'm an older person trying to break into this field. It is possible. It is absolutely possible. Totally possible. Yes, age is not a factor. No, but I understand the question because I certainly felt that way. I was 37 when I transitioned to scripted, and I remember walking into these rooms and I was like, man, everyone's young, and you had for example, I saw editors who were way younger than I was, right? And I'm here walking in as an first-time assistant editor, so I get the feeling, I understand it, but trust me, don't let that get stuck in your head. I was just happy to be there. I got the opportunity. I'm happy. Who cares? No one cares, really. Like, yeah, so I don't let that stop you for sure. Let's see. I'm loving this. I'm loving this. Patrick Land, what makes you union eligible? I mean, there's so many things, right? But generally, like the way I like to think about it is like pretty much anything that is like on broadcast TV, on TV. It starts getting tricky when it's like, digital, right? Like online platforms, and that can get tricky. With like documentaries, for example, and like feature films, like they have to like screen at festivals, stuff like that. So whatever it is that you work on, say you're trying to get your hours, like definitely check with contract services. If it qualifies, you just want to make sure. And also, here's another one. Speaking of now the union and all that stuff, and again, check out the video that I have here on the channel. But aside from the type of work, say the whether you be on reality or documentary, whatever, you got to make sure that your job title says like assistant editor or editor, like literally like on your paycheck. Because there's cases where like people will spend years working this job, right? And it's like some jobs have like editing jobs have like a weird title, like or not weird, but just like content producer or whatever. And then like it becomes really hard or maybe even impossible to have that job qualify for the union or for the roster because it just has like a different title or a job title. So that's also another thing you got to be careful with. See, we're going to keep going here. Again, if I didn't see your question, if it's up at the top of the chat box, type it in again, copy paste. Charlie, I've been seeking mentorship and trying to figure out if and when I will need to move to LA or New York. What are some steps I can realistically take in the meantime to make some progress towards my goals? Well, you're taking the first steps now. Like being here, you are on your way. So congrats to you because just by being here, you're moving down that path to achieving your goals. So now it's just a matter of, honestly, a lot of things, but like really putting yourself out there, right? If you want to really make this happen, you got to now look for people for mentors, right? Or not even so much mentors, maybe like that's like further down the line, right? But just a community, a support, people to talk to, contacts, right? There's obviously a lot here, but there's more communities, right? Now, I will say, like, for example, I do offer a private mentorship, right? I do offer the Breaking the Scripted course. There are those resources if you want to dive deeper into all these topics. I do offer that, right? But, again, there's a lot of stuff on here on the website or podcast. It's all free, right? But, again, I'm saying that that's an option as well. I've helped a lot of people through this program and it helped them, achieve their goals. And so I'm definitely going to mention that because, that's what we do here, right? So, but, bottom line is that you're doing it already and congrats, right? And just keep doing this, keep asking questions, getting clarity, and then building your network, growing your contact list. And you can do it now before you get to LA or New York, and so that when you do eventually decide to do that, you're not waiting to like the last minute to, oh, now I gotta find people. It's like, hey guys, like I'm going, next month or 2 months, I'm gonna be down there. I'm ready to do this, and I'm so excited, and so but I want to meet up and whatever. You have your list of people to reach out to, so you can start doing that work now. But really, I mean, you it seems like you're good at putting yourself out there. Like you're really communicating what you want to do, and that's great. That says a lot. I'm gonna stick around here a little bit longer, because getting some good questions. Did everyone have dinner? What are you having for dinner? So you do think it would be helpful to get a news job here in LA to get some experience as a start? Well, I thought you were in Vegas. I I mean, I wouldn't like. I don't know if I'm understanding this correctly, but if I'm living, say, in this case, in Vegas, I would look at probably getting, uh, working in news, and in Vegas, because it's gonna be. I mean, I hate to say easier, but it is because just LA is just a very, 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 very competitive city, very competitive market. Trust me. And so if you can get that out of the way in Vegas, I highly suggest that. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I started in local news in San Diego. That was my first job. But again, like anything that you do, I would suggest you contact contract services and ask this just to clarify. Because again, I do want to, make this clear that I'm not an employee of contract services. I'm not a union representative. So please, 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 please check with either contract services or the union. Tere's Mexican food awaits. Oh, I could use some Mexican food right now, man. Oh, that's right, you're in Texas, dude. Oh my God, I'm gonna send you some, man. Where do you want them from? What was your favorite spot in San Diego? Okay, yeah, that's right, man. Yeah, Matt and I go way back. We worked in local news there in San Diego. Good times, dude. Wow, 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 wow. We got to chat. So, okay, good question. I love all your questions. Great questions. Amanda Romero asks, I co-edited the second half of an indie feature this past summer, and I saw that I received an assistant editor title in the credits when I attended the screening. Should I ask to change it to co-editor? Yeah, yeah, you were. Yeah, I mean, if that was the agreement, like say from the get-go, and that you were like, all right, you're gonna be a co-editor, and like they messed up and give you assistant editor credit, then yeah, I would look into that for sure. Now, I know you didn't ask this, but I'm just gonna kind of, it just got me thinking about this. But for example, like let's say you are like, this would happen to me. I had never been an assistant editor, right? Until I got to LA. So all my experience was as an editor. Again, in unscripted, I'll just call it that. And so when I get to LA, I'm like, oh, it's a union. I don't know what this is. But I had been working, as an editor in broadcast media for 15 years, and I just qualified right away. So I joined the roster as an editor, right? But I wasn't getting editing credit or jobs, right? Because I was new to LA. And so I had to start working as an assistant editor. That's fine. You can change your classification. You can change that. That's not a problem. It's just important that your pay stub says either editor or assistant editor. That's the important part. And then once you're there, you can change that classification. You can say join in as an editor and then like, oh, but I'm going to then work as an assistant editor or the other way around, right? So I don't know. Your question just kind of reminded me of that, brought that up. But I don't know how, I don't know. I mean, either like if you're trying to join the union, you could do it as either having as a co-editor or an editor or as an assistant editor, right? So, but if you want to, if I would, definitely if I was the agreement from the get-go that you're going to be a co-editor, for sure. Oh no, Amanda's making me hungry now. Amanda, make pork dumplings, everyone. Oh my God. Dinner's ready. Well, let us know how they turn out. Maybe post a picture or something. Matt says he likes El Puerto in Spring Valley. I've never tried that place, man. I got to check it out. And now we're talking about food here. Jessica Flores, do you have any recommendations on how to find meetups to build more relationships with others in post-production? I am a big fan of Facebook. I think, like, people ask me, what's a website where I can find work? And first thought comes to mind is Facebook. There's so many post-production groups. And for example, I'll name one right now, Blue Collar Post Collective. They just had their in-person meetup, I think last Saturday. So they stopped, I think, because of the pandemic. And I think it wasn't until now that they started doing those meetups once again at the St. Felix in Hollywood. And so there's other meetups. Like they do Latinx post professionals meetup. I know, like maybe once a month, maybe once every 2 months at the All Season Brewery, in which I love. And so and I'm looking to do more of those, right? In-person meetups. So, but there's so many on Facebook, and that's and then like Lassie Pug, for example. Lassie Pug is doing them again in person. They're in Barnsdall Park in Hollywood. That's a big one. That's been going on for a while. So yeah, definitely check those out. Have you tinkered with AI? No. No. That thing scares me, man. How do you think AI will impact the editing profession? Well, I mean, like, look, there's, I know AI has been used a lot, for example, like on voices. It's pretty crazy. So, yeah, man, I've always thought about it. Like, how is that going to impact? I don't know yet. But, I mean, things are changing, man. You can't deny that. And so you got to really think about that what's going to happen, like, in the next 5-10 years. Who knows? I don't know what it is. Will there be an impact? Absolutely, for sure. Yeah. I mean, well, I think so. Yeah, but no, I haven't messed with it. But I know other productions have, especially like in the audio space. All right, we can go a little longer if you have questions. I don't mind. Yeah, AIVO service for sure. Yeah, man, that's nuts. Patrick Land, I've been a tape logger for a post-production company for almost 6 months, and I wanted to know how I can ask my supervisors about post-PA or assistant editing position without insulting them. Well, yeah, I mean, why would you think you're insulting them? Would be my question. But no, it's like you gotta let people know what you want to do, right? If your goal is to, for example, be a post PA or you're interested in that or assistant editor, you gotta straight up communicate that. I think you have to be just sincere, honest, and say what you want to do and why. And the right people, I gotta say, the right people will not be insulted. If they are, I don't think you want to work for those people. People who are gonna not support your goals, right, in future endeavors. So it's just a matter of speaking up, honestly, and being assertive and genuine but thinking about it, right? If you are going to go talk to them and tell them that you want to do this, you got to, to have a reason. Have an honest, just reason, a good reason why you want to do this and why this is your goal. I think is one way to not insult them maybe is like, talk shit about like their say being a tape logger. Like if you hate it, right? Like don't say you hate it. Don't do that. So you say you love it, but that it's not, just something that you want to do. You want to further your career. You want to be eventually an editor, and you, for example, right? And you want to take this path, and you want to move on to other things, right? So, definitely, but definitely put it out there. Yeah, no doubt about it. Matt, what roles, projects are you pursuing now that you have worked on scripted and non-scripted? I'm sticking down the scripted path for sure. Editing. I would like to make my way into features. And yeah, I think that's the goal right now. I have cut an indie feature, and now I'd like to do that, just on a bigger scale and go down that route. And if it's not film, I mean, just I don't know. I mean, like just interesting scripted TV shows still work for the streamers, and just interesting projects, right? That are just I like kind of visually interesting projects, right? And so and maybe more higher profile stuff like that. But bottom line, I think, is just going down the feature route. Good question. David asks, I feel I'm ready to cut a scene. What's a good way to approach my editor to let me cut a few scenes? Well, I would say, first of all, is to communicate. I hope you have communicated to your editor that you yourself want to be an editor. It starts there, because I'll tell you this. Not everyone will just assume that an assistant wants to be an editor. You have to tell them, and you want to say, like, this is my goal. I want to do this. And, if you are, for example, like, if you yourself feel like you can cut a scene, right? And to say, kind of more so like, put it out there and say, like, you know what, if you ever, need help, I'm available. Or if you want to give me something to just give me a shot, give me something to practice with, and maybe, here's the key, get some feedback from you, right? Then that's more of a way to like, all right, I'm not going to use this maybe for the show, but I'll let them cut a scene just to practice, and we'll talk about it, right? That's a good way to start building that trust. The other way, and this is what I did, I'll tell you how I got a co-editing credit, or what helped me get a co-editing credit on Narcos Mexico. I had cut a short film, like maybe 2 years before I worked on Narcos Mexico. It was a really cool film. It was like it had a cool action sequence. Like it looked good. It was good, solid. Very proud of it. And so I went up to my editor and said, you know what, hey Monty, like I have this film, right? And I generally didn't want to get. I wasn't trying to get a co-edit. I was just being like, there's this legendary editor here who's been doing it for all his life. Obviously has tons of experience. I wanted to watch this film and just give me feedback, because I was just starting out as working in scripted, right? I showed him the film. He liked it, and he was impressed. And I got a co-editing credit that allowed him to trust me, and he started giving me scenes. Obviously, I would cut stuff and he would give me feedback, but then like I got a co-editing credit, right? But that's another good thing to do, is to cut stuff outside of work. Cut short films, right? Cut projects. And honestly, I don't even think it has to be short films, but just interesting stuff that you can show to your editor and say, like, you know what? I can cut. I know I have a lot to learn, and I want your feedback. I want you to, show me how to get better. But at least you start building that trust, right? So that's my advice to anyone that's looking to cut scenes. But it starts simply by saying it. Again, putting yourself out there, really telling your editor, like, I want to be an editor. You start there, right? Just start there. You put it out there. and then say, you know what, I could use your feedback, right? Maybe, if you ever have, if you want to give me anything to cut, like, I mean, just to kind of practice, or, and I really would love your feedback, have a discussion about it, right? And then you do that and slowly start building that trust. It's all about trust, honestly. And then, hopefully you get actually scenes to cut that'll be on the show, right? And again, also I recommend just simply cutting like, projects outside of work, honestly. But good question. Matt, why do feature films appeal more to you than high-end, longer form series like Netflix or HBO? Well, I should, a good question. Films, well, I like this idea of working with a director, like one director, right? And so let me just explain that, right? So a lot of series will have various directors, right? So maybe if there's like 10 episodes, you'll have maybe 3 different directors. I don't know, 4 different directors, right? With the film, it's a director, and it's more of a director's really, film is more of a director's medium, and then like TV is more of a writer's medium and producers, right? 2 different ways of working. And so, I just, I recently, for example, worked my last project with 6 episodes, and it was one director, and it was like this kind of feature film / TV show hybrid. Really liked it. I loved it. So that really got me thinking about going down the feature route. Now, yeah, there's a lot of, like, for example, like Euphoria, right? It's one director, stuff like that. Queen's Gambit, so those shows are out there for sure, but I don't think that's a lot. I think we're seeing more of that now, though. Do most shows you work on have a music editor? My experience, for the most part, not everyone. But my last couple shows did have a music editor, for sure, yeah. And a music supervisor, 2 different things. Lisa, if the script has a musical number like in Riverdale or Buffy the Musical, do you as the editor still cut that? Is it different? Like, do you cut to the music for those scenes instead of adding after? Yeah, I mean, like, I know editors that work on like like these type of shows, and yeah, they cut the performance themselves. Usually what happens is that there's been a whole process already with clearing the music, right? Because they have to have this song playing back on set when they shoot this. So they've already gone through a process of clearing that song, saying that we're going to pay for this and we have the rights to use it. So then that when you get to cutting that performance, you actually are cutting it to the track, right? I mean, you would have obviously the playback in production, like on set, but then you have like an audio file in the timeline that syncs to the playback and you cut it, right? I haven't heard of anyone going into a show and like cutting a musical number. Like, for example, I've heard though, this happens in comedy, especially like shows that are like, what's the show on AMC? Kevin, something about Kevin, on AMC. That's it's like a sitcom / drama, I think, hybrid of a show. So like it has like, I think there's sections of the show that are like a sitcom, and then there's like a traditional drama, right, within the same show. So they bring in sitcom editors to cut the sitcom sections, and then they have like drama editors to cut the drama parts. That I know of. Musicals, I've never heard say of someone coming in to cut a musical number. Wouldn't be surprised if someone does do that, but I haven't yet to hear that. All right, I'm gonna do 8:30. How about that? 8:30. Did the same thing, hour and a half in the morning. I'll do the same thing here today. It's been fun. It's been fun. Yes, that one. Yes, that is it. Thank you, Alex. I hear it's good. I've never watched it. I know people who work on it, but I have never watched it. Did my light just go out? Oh my God. All right, a couple more questions here. We'll go to 8:30. How about that? If not, we'll cut it, sooner. You guys are hungry and want to go eat dumplings or Mexican food. I don't think I have anything exciting like that today. Is there a website you recommend to start getting familiar with the union and networking in LA? Well, yeah, the contract services website. Contract services, you get a lot of information there. You get a lot of information at the Editors Guild website, the Local 700. You start there, right? And to start getting familiar with networking, I mean, I'm just gonna say this one, my courses. I don't know. I mean, other ones that I can tell you that like start to do the networking that I do. So mine. I mean, as far as like actually networking, I mean, like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff like on, there's a lot of post-production groups all over online. So you can say, go practice and do networking there, right? But, as far as like a course and something that shows you learn more about it, that would be through the Hollywood Editing Mentor Program. Awesome, Ken. Yeah, no, so happy you made it. Thank you, honestly. So yes, so how you guys been liking this? Let me know if you've been liking this afternoon tea. Let us know in the chat box. I want to hear from you. Again, thank you for your support. Thank you for being here. This has been just so fun today, honestly. And I'm definitely gonna do it again. Do these 2 sessions. So fun, and like I said, this community just keeps on growing, and it can't do it without your support. And so I'm going to continue doing this. And look, I got a lot of great plans for this thing, for this program, for this community. So stay tuned. Definitely, stay tuned to the newsletter, to the YouTube channel, all the social media platforms. There's going to be a lot. You probably hope you don't get tired of me. Luke, no, thank you, man, thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying this. I'm fine. I love that you are finding this helpful. Thank you, Ace Digital Productions. Appreciate that. Maggie, thank you. I'll see you soon. Lissa, of course. Thank you. Oh, appreciate it. Check out the podcast. Yeah. Again, coming back this month. We're in February now. February 14th. And glad you liked afternoon tea. Yeah, no, I'm looking to do more of this. Make myself more available. Thank you, Patrick. So happy you made it, man. I'm glad to hear you enjoyed it. Yeah, David, glad you made it. Yeah. Awesome. Hope you can make the next one. Awesome, Charlie. Yeah, hey, that's what we're here for, man. That's what this community is here for support, for providing knowledge, so, come back again and again, check out all the resources here, throughout all the Hollywood Editing Mentor platforms. Oh, dude, good. So happy you stopped by, Matt. I hope you are doing really well, my friend. You have a great weekend as well. Ken has the best collection of needle drops in all of LA, guaranteed. I gotta hit you up. Let's see. Are there any questions that I missed? Amanda, this is great. It keeps my brain churning about a lot of different topics, and it helps spark new ideas and inspiration. Hey, that's great to hear. I'm glad that you're feeling inspired. And yeah, that's the thing. It's like, that's why, I go off into my own communities or other communities and read books and all this stuff. And that's the thing. Like, those things spark new ideas and inspiration. That's a good, I'm glad you mentioned that, Amanda, because that's exactly it. It's like, whatever it is that you go seek and participate in, hopefully you find something like this. That sparks new ideas and you get inspired, because that's also a big part of this, right? It's to get you thinking, get that ball rolling, right? And so use it in that sense. So really, thank you for saying that, Amanda. Karina, she's looking forward to the podcast. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, you'll definitely hear about it. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a great season. I gotta admit. Lisa, what kind of hours do you work when you're on a project? For the most part, when it's not crunch time, when it's not like I have deadlines and I'm, it's crazy. So just a normal day would be, I like to get going like 9:30 or 10 maybe, the latest, and like go till like 7. And, sometimes I'll stop earlier. But when it's crunch time, I go into, maybe closer to maybe at midnight, but it's not, it doesn't happen a lot. It's kind of rare, but that's me. That's just me, because I'm just good at managing my time. So, but a normal day, I'd say 9:30 to 7. Yeah, maybe. Again, sometimes maybe earlier, right? But that's kind of typical. Oh, no, thank you for stopping by, Jessica. I hope to see you again. Yeah, I just got money. I just got a Venmo here from my assistant. Anyone going to the Eddie Awards? I will be there. It's on Sunday, March 5th. And we talked about this earlier on in the first session. It's definitely, a good point. Make it a point to either go to the Eddies or I would probably suggest Edit Fest. That happens in August. They do have a virtual version, or you can come out to LA. I mean, of course, I highly recommend you come to the in-person event. But if you can't, definitely do the virtual one. But nothing beats the live event. So that's in August. Usually it's like in late August. And the Eddies are, happening here in March. It's going to be fun. That's the thing also, about being in LA that I tell people. It's just like, it's so fun, especially if you're working in this industry and you love movies. Like, there's just so many events happening like all the time. Especially right now during award season. I mean, it just does not stop. So, I highly recommend it. Amanda's tempted. I gotta do it. I recommend it. Lisa did a Edit Fest last year virtually. What you think? What were your thoughts? Did you like it? I did it once, obviously, through the pandemic, because it was only virtual. All right, so, well, look, if you don't have any more questions, I think it's time to wrap it up. I know it's getting late, especially out there in the East Coast. And so, again, I just want to thank you here for being a guest here today and showing up and getting to meet everyone. And I'm glad I met you. It was your first time here. Truly, again, I just appreciate your support and look more from this community, from this platform, from Hollywood Editing Mentors. There's a lot coming up to help you and help you on your way to achieving your goals, following your dreams, This is the ultimate resource to help you with that, whatever it is, whether you want to work in film, scripted television, commercials, documentaries, reality, wherever it is. This is a place where you can come to learn and find that support from this community, myself. We're here to help you, right? So let your friends know, help spread the word of the Hollywood Editing Mentor program and the podcast, the YouTube channel. Help us out here spreading the word. Again, just want to keep growing this and certainly cannot do it without your support. So thank you very much. But we're going to play it out now. It's time to go get some dinner. Luke, thank you. Hope to see you again. There it is. Technical difficulties. I am doing all the live switching here. So sorry if I mess up. Anyways, guys, thanks again for coming here to this, the real afternoon tea session. Or I guess evening, however you see it. But thank you. Going to be doing this again soon. And I'm going to be doing this format again, doing the 2 sessions because I think people really enjoyed it. So look out for that and look out again for the podcast on Tuesday, February 14th. Buen provecho. Buenas noches. Don't forget to subscribe to the Hollywood Editing Mentor channel on your way out and help grow this platform, help this channel reach just the post-production community around the world. We need your help by subscribing. A lot more great content coming to you soon here from Hollywood Editing Mentor. All right. Patrick, thank you for showing up and thank you for all your questions. I'll see you soon. Buenas noches, Matt. For those who are in the Breaking the Scripted course, I will see you Saturday. Do your homework. You got until tomorrow to turn it in. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. I'll see you soon. All right, guys. Thanks again very much. This was Afternoon Tea here with Hollywood Editing Mentor. We'll be doing it again soon. Hope you can stop by. You will definitely hear more about it. And again, thank you for all your support. Buenas noches.